Okay, welcome to episode 3 of The Bottom of the Well. I'm Burrhe. I'm joined by Newbs.
Hi, I'm Newbs.
Woo! All right.
What's going on? Yeah, all right.
All right. Okay. Good episode, guys. We'll call it there. We showed up. Yeah, everything's going well, actually. How's your week been?
Yeah.
3 weeks been since we last saw.
My officially 2 weeks, perhaps. As to be determined by how long it takes to post this, has been a wonderful period of time.
Oh, why has it been wonderful? Do tell.
I've played numerous video games. I've been video game obsessed lately.
Nice.
It's summer, obviously, and it has gotten too hot for me to go outside, so that is prime video game weather.
Perfect. You got air conditioning?
I do, and I sit directly in front of it. It's a portable one.
So the UK is like a weird place of the world where, for the vast majority of the time, it's nice and quite cool temperature, like a nice stay inside video gamey temperature. Go outside if you want because it's not too hot. If it's cold, just turn the heating on or wrap up warm.
Right.
Everything's cool. Apart from like 1 or 2 weeks of the year where it is 30 degrees C, nearly or above. Yeah. And
that's what it is here right now.
It's not worth having air conditioning for just those 2 weeks of the year. So we don't have air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, it's not common here either. Like, I went out of my way to get the portable AC just because I guess I'm too sensitive to the heat.
So we just have to, we have to just brave it because it's, for the vast majority of the time, it's not worth having sitting around and have the expense of it. But so when a UK person says it's too hot, that's not because it's actually too hot for anyone else. It's because we don't have air conditioning.
I mean, I feel like that's pretty true here as well.
Fair, yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Is that the official term, by the way? Is UK person the official term?
Oh, yeah, sure, why not? Oh, Brit. You have to apologise, background noises. My dog is just slowly ripping up cardboard in the background.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm almost certain going to have some sirens in my background. There is a very obvious fire going on, like a couple blocks away.
Ooh. Yeah,
black smoke pouring into the air, so we'll see what happens.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know how much of the ripping and tearing is going to come through.
I can hear it, but it's fun.
Might need to pause a bit.
Hey, wait a second.
Yeah?
I have a big question.
Oh, yeah?
Is your dog with us at the bottom of the well?
He's on a Skype call just constantly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, Skype.
We managed to get like a big kind of wall screen TV down here.
Right, of course, for all the gaming.
Yeah, for all the gaming, because I was sick of just doing Switch on handheld. And he's just up there, just 24/7. I mean, I could mute him, but I'm choosing not to. That's
right. You want to feel like you're at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, feel some normalcy, of course.
Okay, so I want to kick off with games because I finished Link to the Past.
Yay!
Literally today, as we are speaking.
Wow!
Finally got it done. I've been procrastinating and putting it off, but I did it.
It's a bit of an insult to the game, isn't it? Treating it like a job.
Did you manage to finish off your playthrough of it as well?
I did, yeah.
Have you got anything else to add before I kick off?
I don't think so. I was just listening to last episode, and I feel like I covered my thoughts there.
So first thing I want to say is, last time I talked about the old school bullshit that was prevalent with a particular part.
I recall.
Of said dungeon that I was doing at the time. And looking back through it, what some people say, like, it does give you a clue to go talk to an old man, and the old man, who I found quite difficult to find, but I stumbled across him later. Hey, I'm mid-rant. Excuse me. Thank you. Alright.
Continue,
hopefully,
please.
yes. Sorry for the rude interruption. Should I just have a picture of my dog on screen for like this whole thing instead of Link to the Past gameplay? Just
We've
my
got
dog.
a guest. The third man. Yeah.
So old man, who was quite hard to find anyway, so I'm not excusing anything, but he then does say you should play the flute in front of the weather vane. So it's entirely possible with clues in game to have done that whole bit, but that doesn't excuse the whole previous old school bullshit going on, where the way it leads you on to expect one thing and then another.
Right, because this was not the only instance you complained about.
But it was certainly a big one, and the whole the way it set it up, and it's the last, or second to last rather, dungeon trying to get to it.
Right.
Yes,
that's right. It is a hassle.
And even if you do the whole get the duck thing, it doesn't tell you that it's a teleporter, so you'd have to actually try it out, but then why wouldn't you?
Sure, I mean, who's not going to try it out, though?
Yeah, so I am slightly more forgiving on that aspect. A touch.
Okay.
I have a new bit of old school bullshit that I want to rant about today.
Really?
So I have now completely finished the game. Not 100%, I will say. But it's to do with the final boss.
Of course.
The rest of it was fine, various levels of frustration and odds and ends here and there. But I'm going to get this rant out of the way so I can talk about some other positives. And other things that I thought about. So, you get to the end of the Ganon's tower. You kill Agamemnon or whatever his name is.
However you say that.
Yeah, Ganon shows up and just goes, "Oh, you'll have to defeat the real me," like any other Zelda game, of course.
There's always that twist. Yeah, the real boss shows up at the end.
So started to fight him after prepping and stuff. Like jump down into the pyramid. Fight him for a bit, eventually get knocked off into the abyss and have to fall down to the bottom of the pyramid, only to find the helpful tips that one of whatever the sorcerer is from the start of the game, who's been leaving clues for you for the whole game. It says,
Sarasa. That's another name I can't pronounce. Sarasala or something like that. Something like that.
By the way, you'll need this silver arrow.
Yeah, of course.
You need the silver arrow. This thing that has not been mentioned to me for the rest of the game. Nor has it mentioned anywhere that I don't know where to find these silver arrows. I've not found them yet. So, because I was doing it today, and I wanted to finish it by this podcast recording, which I did with plenty of time, but I didn't really feel like wandering around for another 3 hours. Just gonna be honest there. So I looked up what the deal was with the silver arrows.
Yeah.
Apparently you need the super bombs.
You absolutely do.
Another thing that has not been mentioned to me, or I have not come across yet.
Well, come on, you never tried going into Link's old house, though?
Yeah, but the super bombs weren't there when I did come across that. So I looked up what the deal was with the silver arrows and the super bombs on the interwebs. And apparently the super bombs only start being sold by that guy, which is Link's house in the Dark World. They only start being sold by that guy the dungeon before. So after I think I've defeated the Maya, the old school bullshit dungeon that I was talking about. So after you defeated that, then you can go buy a super bomb off him, and then take it to a crack in the wall that I've known was there for ages, because it's the first thing you see in the
pretty obvious.
Yeah, it's the first thing you see when the Dark World starts, and then blow that up and then get the silver arrow. So what frustrates me about this as someone who's not played the game before, or not trying not to use a guide here, I say trying not to, because at that point I was just like, screw this, I'm just looking this up. Hopefully you can understand and relate here. I
have no shame. I look stuff up all the time. I don't care.
So in terms of this, not only is this kind of a thing that's not been mentioned or brought up before, or if it has, like maybe I did look at that clue near the start of the pyramid, like near the start of the Dark World when I explored the pyramid around. I've forgotten it. That was ages ago. Not only is this a necessary item to beat the final boss, it's like you need a secondary item that's also not been spoken of, and you would need to have investigated that specific place, like I said, recently. So prior to, like, or prior or post rather, to all the exploring you've already done, having seen that it's not a thing that was there before, but not knowing that it's a new thing that's there. And also, if you hadn't explored that bit before, you'd have needed to try and beat Ganon without it first, to then get knocked off into the lower parts of the pyramid at least once, to then have the tip being told to you. So you can hopefully see and understand my problem.
I guess I can. You know, I mean, this is once again a thing where it's hard for me because I don't remember not knowing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know how exactly I worked it out. And probably it was just the same thing probably happened to me, but I was a kid, and it's just like, okay, this is what life is like, I guess. This is what video games are like.
This is my life. Like, a third time into defeating Ganon and not knowing how to defeat him, and nothing's working. And then you're a friend telling you that you have to get the super bomb to get the silver arrows.
Right, or something. Who knows how I did it.
So I was just shaking my head throughout the whole. There's like... It's not like there's hand-holding and linear like stories and paths through games, and then there's old school bullshit,
right?
Which is just making me shake my head. Right.
I mean, it's funny because they're both things that, like, if you know them, they take almost no time to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it's like, I don't know. I guess I wonder what the point is.
Yeah.
Especially the super bomb, honestly. Like, to my knowledge, it's the only thing that it works on. It's this, like, weird special item. It's not even a normal item, right? You don't get it in your inventory. You just have to buy it, and it follows you around. And I think if you jump... you have to, like, actually walk there. If you try to run away from it, or, like, hop off a cliff, it'll kind of be left behind and detonate wherever you left it. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I just
it's
walked
just
straight
like
there. At that point, I was just like, let's just get this done. I'm going.
Right. It's just one of these like, well, why'd you guys bother with this?
Yeah, it seems for an item that's necessary to beat the game. That's what's really ticking me off about that whole little aspect.
I could see if they had the super bomb and it just got you one of the bottles, let's say.
Yeah.
You know.
I ended the game with 2 bottles, and that was enough in the end.
Oh wow!
There's 4 of them from the slots.
Yeah.
Space. Yeah. So I have no idea how to get the others. I'm not inclined to go and look for them or look them up because I'm done now.
Okay, sounds like you're rage quitting after actually already beating the game.
But 2 bottles was like the perfect number for me to take out Ganon actually. So I didn't have any problems other than that. Okay, so I guess other aspects of the game then, which I didn't go into last week. I say last episode, because it was just 40 minutes was taken up completely by my rant.
Yeah, it was a very Zelda-heavy episode last time.
Oh, yeah, it was great. And maybe this one is going to be as well, and that's okay.
We'll see.
The whole podcast is a reference to Zelda anyway.
That's true. We might as well talk about Zelda.
Right down to the well from Kakariko in Ocarina of Time, and the acronym, if you haven't realised, everyone, is the same abbreviation as Breath of the Wild. A happy little coincidence.
I hadn't realised. If you don't notice that, like, what are you even getting out of this show?
It was a happy little accident. Yeah, I like how that worked out. But in the meantime, yeah. So generally, and now that I've finished, like, overall impression of the game, I enjoyed it. Like, it's a Zelda game.
Oh, really?
It's a Zelda game. I had fun. The moment-to-moment gameplay is fun, like moving around and doing the puzzles and exploring the dungeons. Like I said the last time, the dungeons are really fun. apart from the last one. But the dungeons are really great, really well designed. I really like the surprising verticality of them, and the way they feel like they exist in the world. I won't get into my my thoughts on the last dungeon. It was just I just found it really frustrating and annoying.
The one before Ganon's Tower. Right. I also found that actually with this playthrough that like, okay, this is like long. There are a lot of enemies that deal a lot of damage in here. Mm-hmm. I think I got a little bit turned around in there where I had to kind of retrace my steps a couple times.
Yeah, that's fair. Which I appreciate the ability that they've gotten to do that with what is essentially like a 2D space.
Right.
Having the ability to get lost in that kind of thing without it feeling it's just a straight up maze is a testament to how well I say quote unquote quote well how thought out the designs for the dungeons were.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be just obnoxious, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Or it could be just overly simple too. Which, like, if you think about the dungeons in the original Zelda, I mean, there's hardly puzzles at all.
No, yeah, it's just combat, isn't it? And room to room.
Pretty much. It's not puzzles so much as knowing which wall to bomb or something.
Oh, yeah. Or which block to push.
Right.
Yeah, so a few like little annoyances from that moment-to-moment gameplay again. So there's like on my overall impressions is the hitboxes of the swinging of the sword didn't feel nice. I don't know whether that's because the animation they chose, like if you mash it, it doesn't do the full swing in time.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't feel like it was clear which diagonals you could hit at, essentially.
Right.
Whereas, like, particularly with Blossom Tales, which is the Zelda clone that came out in the past, 5 years or so, I can't remember exactly when it came out, did that really well and was really clear. Like, if you're facing right, you're hitting the top right diagonal as well.
Right.
And it's really clear from the way you were swinging the sword in that, whereas I didn't find that in this. I felt like I had a lot of dead spaces that enemies could attack me from, and I couldn't attack them back.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that was really frustrating on the moment-to-moment battles, and that made a lot of the dungeons I feel harder than they needed to be. Which I didn't have a problem with the bosses, because their hurt boxes were so big, so I could just swing in the general direction and hit them anyway. I think you mentioned that last time, but like attacking from above was also a bit better because your swing goes further downwards, because Link hurt box isn't down, it's up. Things like that.
Yeah, you kind of have to work the system sometimes.
Mm-hmm. So that was more of an annoyance rather than anything. I kind of got used to it, but at the same time there'd still be situations that came up. Can I say fuck the knockback in that game as well?
Definitely.
It's just too much.
It is a lot. It is very easy to fall down holes and end up way back in a dungeon, way where you're not trying to be.
Oh, it's so frustrating. So, again, for the interests of time saved and not having to have the game waste my time unnecessarily, I employed liberal use of the Nintendo Switch SNES Online load functionality for like the last 2 dungeons and the boss fights.
Oh yeah, I think that's fine.
At that point, I was just like, you know what? I just want to finish at this point. It's just a formality to get back to that place. So I save scummed that whole last.
No, that's fine. I think this is the beauty of bringing these old games to modern systems when they can implement stuff like this.
Yeah.
Like, it's them kind of acknowledging, like, yeah, this is maybe not ideal game design.
We know you've got better things to do.
Right.
All right, what else did I find about the game? I think that's, for the most part, it. I'll just touch on again that I really enjoyed the boss fights, for the most part. I can't remember one that I really didn't enjoy. Yeah, they had lots of nice sprites, lots of nice animations. Maybe one or two of them were a bit too quick, like a bit too easy.
Right.
And maybe just that is a thing actually. The ones that were easy, you could basically. It was basically a case of the combat failing for me, where certain enemies were designed poorly, or their attack patterns were designed poorly, where you can literally just sit in a corner and just mash the B button and swing your sword, and they can't touch you, and you just do damage when they get close, and that's it.
There is unevenness. I think the bosses are unbalanced. Some just are shockingly easy and over so fast, and others are frustrating. See my rant from last episode.
Yeah, so just in general, like, good game. I don't see why people put it top 3 Zelda games.
Oh wow, controversial.
Yeah, I know. I had a quick look back through out of interest after I finished it. A lot of people said, okay, just literally googled best Zelda game and just looked at a load of people's whatever top 10 lists for Zelda games. And Breath of the Wild is number 1, which I understand.
Frequently, okay.
I think I also don't agree with that. On a personal level, I think it's an amazing game, but not my favorite Zelda game. But I can see why it's number 1, and then number 2 is either Link's Awakening,
okay,
which
surprising.
I saw once or twice, but then the rest are Link to the Past.
And Ocarina surely is up there.
Most lists I saw put it around 5th, and then Majora's Mask 4th. A lot of more people, at least who make lists.
I think these list makers, these are them doing some hot takes.
Yeah.
I feel like the traditional list would be like Link to the Past and Ocarina fighting for 1 and 2. And more recently, maybe put Breath of the Wild in there. Those, I feel like, are typically the top 3.
That's definitely what I feel like. Like, if Breath of the Wild, before Breath of the Wild had come out, all of those lists would have had Link to the Past at number 1 or number 2.
Right.
And for me, I feel like that's a bit rose-tinted goggly, like looking with nostalgia. Because I didn't have nearly as good a time with it as a first playthrough as other games that in the series at least.
Seeing Majora's Mask kind of climb up in favorability over the years is weird too. I mean, certainly in its first few years, it was a bit of a black sheep in the Zelda family. Not quite to the degree of Zelda 2 or something, but like, it was typically not up there. Yeah. But I don't know. I guess its fans are extra passionate, I think.
Yeah, I could see that. When I went back to play it, it was 7 years ago or something now. So, like, relatively recent in terms of Zelda games go.
Did you play the 3DS remake?
Say again?
Was that the 3DS remake you played?
No, I played it on... it was my university years, like last year of university. And I said, you know what? I'm going to play all the Zelda games that I've not played yet. 7 years later, I've just gotten around to Link to the Past. But I started going through all the 3D Zeldas. So
you just
I
played
bought the GameCube disc from eBay with Ocarina of Time, Master's Quest, Majora's Mask, and Wind Waker on it.
I think it was just a Wind Waker demo.
I think in Europe it might have been a combo pack.
Oh wow!
Because it was its own separate disc.
Oh wow! Okay.
But on one disc was Ocarina of Time, Master's Quest, and Majora's Mask, and then in the other side of the case was Wind Waker. I think question mark. Okay. I could have just bought it separately either way. I bought all of those anyway, and I played through because I'd played through Ocarina of Time previously when I was younger. I did the Master Quest, then I did Majora's Mask, and then I did Wind Waker, like in relatively quick succession. And I remember Majora's Mask being far harder than all of those on a first playthrough without guides.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Because there's so much stuff to do there that doesn't lead you to completing the game. So you just like go off on random side quests, and you're like, is this helping me?
Yeah.
And you just get lost.
There's a lot going on in that game. So I wonder if that's part of its staying power too, is people feel like there's a lot for them to go back to over the years.
There's a lot to dig deep into that, like a lot of replayability in there.
Yeah,
whereas,
that's right.
Coming back to like modern day Zelda stuff, or at least more recent with Breath of the Wild, I think that game has an amazing first playthrough. Yeah. Like a really incredible first playthrough, particularly near the start with like the tutorials and stuff. I think that Breath of the Wild staying power, at least for the average Zelda lover, will fade over the years. I think we've talked about this, but not on the podcast, where there's actually not a lot to discover after you've discovered everything.
Right. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, I also loved my playthrough of the game, but I haven't gone back to it either.
And I've got no desire to go back to it. I tried because the DLC was on sale finally for the first time since it came out. So I bought the DLC and I played a bit of the DLC. Like, I tried to like wander around a bit, but like before I even got like any ankle deep in the DLC, I just kind of got bored and like, I just want to play a different game right now.
Yeah, I think I was similar. I didn't finish the DLC stuff.
Yeah, I just
yeah, because I guess the joy in the game is the discovery. So once you know the game, that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas the older game, or really just any of the other Zelda games, like, you can just do the same fights, the same dungeons, and it's still satisfying every time.
Which I guess you can get out of Breath of the Wild, but then that's isolated to a few points in the world that you need to do all the exploration again.
Right.
It's few and far between, isn't it? And don't get me wrong, like, I know there's a really dedicated fan base for Breath of the Wild now. That really deep dive into the mechanics and the physicality of the open world, and there's a lot of speed running that goes on around that as well, and discovery of that. And I appreciate that exists, and that the physics engine allows for that. Give me a really solid, slightly more traditional Zelda game with that engine, please. And I will love that game.
I think I feel the same way. Yeah, I love the open world exploration, but I want, I think, more traditional Zelda dungeons
as well
to go along with it.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I am hotly anticipating that Breath of the Wild 2.
Yes, whenever it may come.
Yeah. Just take your time. Take your time, Nintendo. Like, that has the potential to be my favorite Zelda game.
Well, I guess, actually, that's something that's exciting about the Zelda franchise, is each new game has that potential.
True. But I think this, more than any, has shown proof of it, because if it's using the same engine and stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's like a kind of like a potluck. If you've if it's just like a brand new Zelda game, it's like, ooh, I could enjoy this, I might not, but who knows? Let's go have fun. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we don't know too much about it yet, and Nintendo has been bizarrely quiet about upcoming releases.
About everything.
Everything, even compared to normal, they're quiet. They're already too quiet most of the time.
Okay. So, I mean, with Zelda Link to the Past out of the way, I guess for you then, other than Link to the Past, what is your favourite Zelda game? Or, like, what would your top 3 be with Link to the Past being in there? Or have you already said it, Ocarina of Time?
I think it's Link to the... Yeah, it's more or less that. Link to the Past, Ocarina, Breath of the Wild, I think.
Okay, that's fair. I always come back to Twilight Princess. Has a really special place in my heart. Because it was... I actually beat it before Ocarina of Time. Because back in the day, what we'd used to do is... with all our N64 games, is... Because we never had guides, we never had really that many... I say friends. Friends who had N64s as well that could help us out with that kind of thing. But also lack of friends there. That doesn't help. So
the life of a gamer.
Yeah, we just play like a certain chunk into the game and then move on to the next game where we'll play like the first 10% or so of it. And then we'd cycle through our N64 games like that because we had enough of them to do that. So I know the child Link stage of the game real well. And then when it gets scary and adult Link, I used to stop playing then and go and play Banjo-Kazooie or Mario 64 for a bit.
To be fair, the child Link part of the game is really solid as a smaller game.
But I used to know that that whole section of the game like the back of my hand. It wasn't until later that after Twilight Princess that I actually went back to actually complete that. But with like the first Zelda game that I actually played through and completed, Twilight Princess, was that for me. When that came out, I just like smashed it start to finish and loved it.
Was this on Wii?
On the Wii version? It was the Wii version, yeah. So we just got the Wii. Because I actually, again, another thing, I ended up getting the GameCube after we got a Wii, because we had the PlayStation 2 for that period of time. It wasn't until, like, the GameCube was a thing, and there's great games on the GameCube, and that wasn't until after the Wii was a huge deal for everyone.
Well, that was the great thing about the Wii, I guess. It was also a GameCube.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So in terms of all that noise, I completed the Twilight Princess before that, so that's got like that special place in my heart of my first Zelda game, so that nostalgia goggles on for me. But like I've gone back to replay it a few times since, like when the HD one on the Wii U came out, and I still loved it then.
It is still really
nice.
Good.
Yeah, probably nice and much better without the motion controls.
I seem to recall the start of the game being very slow for that one too. That and Skyward Sword are, I think, the two worst for the slow start.
Mm-hmm. I just because I got like invested in the story, and I really love Midna as a character. I was invested even from the early slower parts because the story was enjoyable for me. And the twists and turns it takes you on. That's my takes. Which is unusual for me, because a lot of the time I don't have a preference for games based on the story.
Right.
But with the Zelda, like I resonated and enjoyed the Twilight Princess story that much.
Well, there is more story in that game than a lot of the Zelda games, I think.
It kind of there's just something that lingers with me about that game.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not because I'm a furry. It's not that.
I don't know. You got that avatar.
It definitely is.
Oh boy. We'll leave that for later.
You just edge further and further away into the side of the world.
Okay, here's my promise for next time. I'm gonna play Star Fox Adventures just so we can talk about it.
Nice. I've only ever watched John Tron's video on that. I have no intention of actually.
It's not good.
Ooh.
But I think it corrupted a lot of people who were at a certain age when it came out.
Because that was like one of Rareware's games. Like after they'd done so many like classic, instant classic amazing games, and then that happened, and then they got bought out.
It was Rare's last game before they were sold to Microsoft.
That's such a shame.
And it was their only game for GameCube, and what a strange way to go out.
Yeah, after such a slew of classics.
Yeah, all on N64.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to bring up the next topic? Whatever that
Absolutely.
Oh no!
Sure. So starting with, I have a summer tradition of replaying Donkey Kong Country.
Mm-hmm.
Originally for the Super Nintendo, and another Rareware classic. Over the years, I guess for the first few years of this tradition, it was the original Donkey Kong Country, but then over the years I mixed it up, like replayed 2 and 3, replayed the more recent ones, Tropical Freeze, and what's the other one? Returns.
Donkey Kong Country Returns, yeah.
Yeah. But this year I went back. Actually, this was perfectly timed. I was just thinking, with the abysmal Super Nintendo online, air quotes, free games, I was like, I wish Donkey Kong Country was on here so I could do my summer replay on here, just after I'd beaten Link to the Past. And then they announced that it was coming out.
How convenient.
Very convenient. So I was like, this is perfect. Get to replay the original.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it's a strange game. I think a lot of people would say that it's not that good, or it's sort of like, it was only popular because of the graphics at the time.
It's definitely a wacky one, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think there's maybe more mixed opinions than... It's not in one of the sort of topmost tier of Super Nintendo games that people talk about. but I have a lot of nostalgia for it. In part because I've replayed it or one of its sequels every year for, I don't know, 20 years or something.
I can't imagine that you'd like that game. No, no. Not the fact with all that nostalgia and stuff. No, I can't understand why you like that game. You know, it just doesn't make sense. You know. So I played Donkey Kong Country, the original SNES one, a couple of years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Oh, was that on Wii U Virtual Console?
I think so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a tight platformer. Not the kind of let's say the physics and controls that I'm used to using, so I found it brutally hard.
Oh, interesting.
Like a shock to the system kind of thing. It's like, oh, it's like a SNES platformery thing. I'm king of platformers. I could do this in my sleep, and it hurt me real hard, like lots of times. I was not used to that.
That's funny. It is a lot just kind of looser movement, I guess. There's a bit of slipping and sliding. You don't land neat and stay neatly in place frequently. Especially in kind of the snow ice world, which it's, I love the aesthetic of that, but like, does every game need to have you slipping and sliding? It's so annoying.
Everyone's favorite world. The water world / ice world. Yay!
It's like, I wish designers would go, just because we want to use this aesthetic doesn't mean we're obligated to use these tropes gameplay wise.
I think as a game, when you start designing games, you're like someone sneaks into your house in the night and then like places a hood over your head and then takes you to a basement somewhere and then makes you swear via blood oath. Like they put cut across your hand, of course. That if you're making if you're making any kind of game, there needs to be an ice world, and it needs to have slippery mechanics. I think that's the only explanation that makes sense to me.
And every world has to have a water level, and the mechanics for that have to be awful as well. And fish have to just zoom into screen and insta-kill you with no warning as well.
I think for that, they're just trying to recreate, with those water levels, recreate what it's actually like to be at sea with the agents of death, also known as sharks.
Sure.
That you don't see coming, and all of a sudden, a bit of your leg's gone.
Is that actually fun?
I mean, it is for sharks. They enjoy it thoroughly.
It's fun for the sharks. Overall, I did not struggle like that because I've played the game so many times and I grew up with it. I honestly still love the graphics.
Yeah, no, me too. I think it looks great.
Yeah, it's obviously, I don't know, at the time did people think, oh, this looks real? I don't feel like they did. I didn't. It's its own style, I guess. Like everything's kind of shiny and unreal. Everything looks like plastic, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like
and I kind of like that. Yeah,
almost.
The
way they move as well is like that kind of claymation.
Right, that's right. And I also appreciate the simplicity of the original DKC compared to the sequels that introduced some of that rare style collectathon.
Yeah.
Where in this game, like, there are things to collect, but they have no bearing on the game. It's just extra lives and, find all the secrets just 100% the game. Yeah. Or 101% the game.
Yeah, as with the Donkey Kong games, yeah.
Right. Whereas later on, of course, they got into all sorts of nonsense, collection-wise. And those things were frequently required.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Tell me about these monkeys, Newbs.
Let me tell you about Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz for the Switch.
I have never played a Super Monkey Ball game.
Oh, I'm not sure I should say you're missing out.
That good,
I'm not even sure. I don't know what I see in the games. But I did play the original 1 and 2 back on the GameCube, which are generally considered the good ones in the franchise.
Yeah.
And I don't remember them super well, except that they were extremely frustrating but because of their difficulty, they were like the gameplay was solid, but they were infamously difficult. Anyways, the Banana Blitz port came out on Switch, and I thought, well, you know what? The complaints are generally that it's a bit too easy, and people wishing it was more like the originals. Mm-hmm. But I thought, well, maybe that's actually what I want after all. So I picked it up, and I would say I think the complaints, at least for the early, or actually too much of the game, are legitimate. Like, I'm trying to guess, maybe the first 2/3 of the game or so is just dead easy. Mm-hmm. But it does get challenging towards the end. The last couple of worlds I found pretty tough. Definitely there were some certain levels that I just got really stuck on, and maybe it was just me not seeing the right way to roll my monkey ball down the hill. I'm not sure if it was me or if it was just, poorly balanced gameplay. Would you like a description of how to play Super Monkey Ball?
So I know the kind of general gist of it, because it's a big enough franchise that I'm aware of its existence and kind of. But you just have to get from A to B and collect bananas, right? Along a platformy thing that you can fall off because you're in a ball, and it's
right.
And in my head, it looks kind of like, almost like a golf pinball thing. Like those kind of feelings where you're trying to get from A to B, like pot your ball. But you've also got this kind of pinball aspect of you could fall off and like lose your ball kind of thing.
So
in my head, it's like that.
You are controlling not the monkey. You're actually tilting the level and trying to roll the monkey into the target.
Oh, okay.
Right. So I guess that's what Marble Madness type. I feel, or something like that. I feel like there's some old school game that kind of invented that. So the monkeys themselves, I believe, are meant to be essentially toys. I think they're in like gotcha machine.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Capsule balls.
At a screenshot. Yeah, I can see that now.
That's my take. I did zero research, but that's my understanding. You are fighting large monkeys that are not in balls. They are the bosses, which is a bit of a strange concept. Like, I'm wondering what this world is exactly that the monkeys exist in.
We need world building and lore in our Super Monkey Ball game, please.
Right.
Otherwise, we won't.
No doubt that exists
God.
somewhere, but. So I'm struggling with much to actually say about this once again.
I'm on the
It
Wikipedia
is a very
page.
simple game.
I'm on the Wikipedia
let's hear
page for Banana
some
Blitz.
facts.
I didn't realize it was originally a Wii game, so I'm assuming it has the motion controls in. So maybe that's why, like, the first whatever it is you said is super easy.
Yes,
so
that does explain it.
That seems like a design choice that they would have done. So that would explain that.
That also explains that in this game, unless I am woefully wrong, there's no camera controls in this game.
Oh yeah,
which makes it very frustrating to like line, because you kind of have to roll around until you kind of convince the camera to get behind you.
Yeah,
which makes it really difficult to line up the direction you want to roll in.
I bet that's super frustrating for this game.
Yeah, so I think. Now that I'm remembering this, I think a lot of the difficulty later on in the game is sort of artificial difficulty that would have been remedied if they'd just given you camera control. So this is not exactly a glowing review, but I still enjoyed the game.
Hold on. So another bit from the Wikipedia: the analog stick on the nunchuck attachment can control the camera.
What?
So why is there no camera
what was
control?
I playing? Okay, we're gonna do some on-air Googling right now.
I love how but it says the also says the nunchuck was entirely optional, so it was designed with no
so
camera control in mind. But they had a camera control in there, apparently. Where'd it go? Where'd it go, monkey ball? What did you do with your camera?
This is going to be embarrassing if it turns out like that there's actually camera control in this thing.
Or telling of your epic gamer prowess that you didn't even
need
the camera. Let's spin this right, okay. Get PR on it. To spin it that you're pro epic gamers. So while you're doing that...
I'm not finding any info on this.
There is a plot section to the Wikipedia page. Would you like me to read the plot of this game out?
Yes, tell me what happened. Thank you for making this segment of the podcast function.
Okay, so the plot. Banana Blitz introduces a new, quote-unquote, pirate-like villain named Captain Krabuchin? Krabuchin.
Sure.
Is it? I'm picturing now a crab with a massive chin.
No, he's a giant ape with like garden snips for hands.
So instead of like a hook, he's like he's a pirate captain, but instead of a hook, he's how could I do me gardening with this hook? How can I trim me hedges?
Yes, exactly. I don't know. I mean,
and he's a misunderstood hero.
they're just big scissors. Otherwise, I don't know what else to call them.
He likes doing arts and crafts with his children, with his many children that you don't get to see, and he's agreed to be the villain in this game to pay his mortgage. You know,
wait, really?
I
zoned out there. Is that the actual story? Okay.
I thought that would be obvious.
You know what? I was focused too much on Google. I thought for a second it was true.
Yeah, I thought my delivery was dry, but not that. Not that. Okay, so on with the plot of this game.
Yes.
That's 50% of the plot, by the way.
Okay.
The rest of the plot is he was previously confused to be Dr. Badboon. I don't know whether that is a thing in the game that you played, actually, but and Captain Krabuchin has stolen the golden banana bunch, and your friends must recover the pieces.
Why does every monkey game have to be about stealing bananas?
I mean, why wouldn't it be? What else do monkeys care about?
I don't know, to be honest.
Exactly. They don't care about anything. They're godless heathens that only care about bananas.
But, like, there are a lot of other animal characters, and they just make them care about something else. You know, like, Sonic doesn't care about whatever the hell hedgehogs eat.
What do hedgehogs eat? Is it like insects?
I don't know.
Like little bugs?
Probably, actually. Good guess, I think.
Hedgehog. I need to find this out. Hedgehog.
I don't know.
Oh, that reminds me. I love how one of the first search things in Google is what do hedgehogs eat. They like a variety of things, but most importantly invertebrates like worms, beetles, slugs, caterpillars, earwigs,
there you go.
It's great. So that reminds me of a YouTube video series called Biologically Accurate. Did you ever see those?
I don't think so, but I'm already picturing what this might be.
So, or like scientifically accurate rather than biologically accurate. But they had a series basically where they took pop culture characters that were usually like animal or animal adjacent or something like that. For example, Sonic the Hedgehog, and what biological facts about hedgehogs have not been included into the Sonic design,
I don't think any of them have been included.
Yeah, no, exactly. So one of the things that really stands out is that apparently hedgehogs take a poop every few steps or something like that. Like they poop a lot and often. A little bit and very often. So one of the things I distinctly remember, and obviously these are usually quite rude facts, quote-unquote rude facts and mature concepts like
very
shape
mature.
and size and things like that to get the views and stuff. But it's all very fun and interesting and actually scientifically accurate, so you actually learn stuff about it as well. Really great series. Well, I might go back and rewatch some of those. It's where I first heard Knuckles the Echidna, and echidnas have a penis that has 4 heads.
Oh, Jesus.
It's grotesque.
Oh, no.
But very interesting.
Well, very interesting. I don't want to know what DeviantArt has done with that.
Oh, ooh.
That knowledge.
Neither do I. I think what they've done already is bad enough.
Plenty bad enough, yeah.
But yeah, one of the things I distinctly remember about the Sonic the Hedgehog video is him running really fast still, but then just being a long trail of poop behind him.
Yeah, I think I have seen that, actually.
Classic. But they did, I think one of the ones I really remember as well was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man. And they must have done a load of others, but I can't remember any of those
I'm sure.
off the top of my head they did. But those are the ones that stick out.
Should we try to get somewhat back on topic here?
No, I refuse.
No.
Do you have any more monkey games now that we're on the topic? Tell me about the monkey games.
So I did some Googling. I found no evidence of camera controls in this game. So I think that's just it. I'm shocked that there ever was.
I'd be surprised if you were playing it and frustrated about the lack of camera controls, you wouldn't have found it.
Right. I mean, I tried the other stick many times, hoping to find camera controls.
Just like, please work this time. Please work. Oh, no,
like
it
maybe
didn't.
this time. So overall, I enjoyed it, but it's not, by no means is this a AAA game. This is if you find it on deep discount, it's worth a quick playthrough. And which is really kind of, to me, what Monkey Ball is. It's kind of a fun, quick diversion filler franchise. And I kind of like that about it. You need those sometimes.
Yeah, just like a pick up and play thing, and then you can put down.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how long it's been since your last playthrough.
Right, exactly. Right, like the controls are very simple. You roll, all you have to know is you roll the world around with the left stick and you jump with A. That's the whole game. Like, you're not going to forget the story, what was happening in the story.
Now, hold the phone there. What if we take those controls and we only use a Wiimote?
Yeah, so
but not the
this
buttons
is funny.
on the Wiimote. So jump is flick it upwards. How would that be?
In googling these controls, like the reviews I found specifically are like, this game's a lot better now that it's away from the Wii motion controls. Which is not surprising at all.
But wouldn't it be better if you could feel like you were the monkey ball and you were really tilting something,
I mean,
wouldn't that be great? And it would feel so much more intuitive.
I don't know.
It'd be something you could get your grandma to play. Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe, but they wouldn't enjoy it.
They could play it, but I don't think they'd like it.
I don't think they'd like it. So that is Banana Blitz for you. Oh, this is a spoiler, but I don't think anybody will care. When you beat the game, you unlock Sonic as a playable character.
Well, actually, Sonic or in a ball?
He's Sonic in a ball.
Okay. It'd be fun if at the end you just were Sonic and you could just run around the stage like just a Sonic.
Like Sonic. No, you're just Sonic in a ball.
Fair
and
enough.
There are a bunch of monkeys to select from. He's just an additional character. His stats do seem pretty strong compared to the other monkeys. Like, they always got to put Sonic at the top tier,
Mm-hmm. Hold on. What's the world building lore that this adds then? Is Sonic just friends with these monkeys and they let him in on one of their balls? Or is he like an honorary monkey that has been welcomed into their tribe?
I don't know the Monkey Ball lore well enough. Like, if this really is sort of a make-believe gotcha machine toy based story, then he's just another toy alongside them.
So is this just in this world it's a Sonic toy, or is Sonic just always been a toy? And this is a crossover game.
Or did he voluntarily get in the ball and say, okay, my turn?
Yeah. And what has he got against Captain Krabbichin and his kids that he's trying to feed?
Well, if Sonic's friends with the other monkeys, then, he wants to support his friends, I guess. He got there late, though.
So we're going with the friend.
Anyways, I have to get this in here. As soon as I realized Sonic was in the game, I went, whoa, this is the best Sonic game I've ever played. Which I was really excited that I could say that on this show instead of just thinking it to myself and laughing at my own joke.
That's amazing. What's the second best Sonic game you've ever played then?
Is it Sonic Mania on the Switch?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that was alright. I got through it.
You can take that quote, Sonic Mania team. It was alright.
Yeah, it was alright.
I like watching people play the bad 3D Sonic games.
Oh, sure.
Because they're hilarious.
That's entertainment.
Hilarious shows.
Just as long as somebody else is playing.
Yeah. As long as I'm not wasting my time and I'm enjoying watching someone suffer. That's... As long as I can play, like, a good game at the same time as just watching them in the background.
Right. Just makes you feel like you're having an even better time.
Oh yeah, it's like
when you compare your experience versus everybody else.
Yeah, just like that kind of having fun because you're actually having fun, or having fun because you're having just more fun at the time than someone else is. So at least now's not that bad.
At least what?
At least now is not that bad right now.
Oh, I see.
It could be worse.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is the great... People say this about all kinds of things. This is way off topic. You complain about something bad happening, and somebody says, well, it could be worse. This could have happened. Well, that doesn't help me at all.
You could be playing a Sonic game.
You could be. Technically, that's true.
You could
it
always...
doesn't really...
It could always be worse because you could always be playing a Sonic game. Even if you're playing a Sonic game, you could always be playing one of the worst Sonic games. You could
be playing Sonic 06.
Yeah.
It could be worse.
Oh no.
Well, we have gone on a while. Did we have anything else to talk about?
I still want to talk about the 51 worldwide clubhouse games, or whatever it's called in your region. But that can get saved till next time, I'm sure, because I'll still be playing that here and there. But I have been playing that, kind of dipping in and out of it. The only thing I kind of, other than that, is something I'm looking forward to between here and now is a game I've been looking forward to for a couple of months called Carrion. Came out last week, and I've just downloaded that. Having finished Link to the Past, I went over and bought that. Have you heard about this, or do you know about it?
No clue. Basically, any game you mention, I seem to be clueless
on. So I'll give you a breakdown now, so we can just go straight into talking about it next time after I've played it a bit, because I'm probably going to sign off here and go play it. It's... do you know the film The Thing?
I am familiar with The Thing.
Have you seen it?
I believe so. Is this in, it's
the 70s.
It's cold?
Late 70s Arctic base.
Yeah. R.I.P., by the way, Wilford Brimley.
Oh?
Who you may know as the guy who looks like a walrus and is known for saying diabetes.
Oh, yeah, that's why I know him.
He is in The Thing, and he died, I think, just today or yesterday.
Oh my god, no way! So The Thing is one of my favourite movies of all time, hands down. Particularly notable because all the rest of my favourite films of all time are all Disney films and or Pixar films.
A little bit different.
And it's certainly my favourite horror movie, hands down. Bloody amazing film. Like, if you've not seen it in a while, Newbs, I'd recommend.
I actually saw it for the first time just a few months ago.
Oh, really?
Surprisingly. Yeah.
Such a good film. Like, the practical effects hold up so well. I could gush about that for a whole episode in itself. So, but think about the Thing from that. And it's not quite that, but it's kind of like that gooey kind of mess of meat and stuff, and like taking over and controlling human bodies and stuff. You basically play as the Thing.
Okay. Oh, that sounds awesome.
But I'm a bit more of the kind of meatball aspect of it, where you go around and just kind of absorb bodies into your mass, and then you move around the level like that. So I've not seen much about it, because I saw it originally and went, this looks cool, the premise is something I'm really into. I love the Thing, so the aesthetics I'm on board with it. But the animation and stuff looks gorgeous. Go away and like look up a trailer after this episode with
Yeah, this sounds pretty cool.
The animation looks really gorgeous because you move around by it's all a 16-bit style, so it looks like a SNES game. But the animation looks gorgeous because you like move the blob moves around by attaching tentacles to the walls and stuff and pulling itself along. So yeah, it looks gorgeous. The gameplay looks fun. The idea appeals to me on a visceral level.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Where you just like sneak around through vents and then suck people into vents into your body. But the idea of like playing as the bad guy, like no holds barred, someone out to just absorb and kill humans, is just something that really tickles something in me that I want to play. So I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully I've got a lot to say on that next time.
Fantastic. Here, I'll preview something for next time as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was one other game that I've been playing that I will save. SNK Heroines Tag Team Frenzy for the Switch. I don't even know how to preview it. It is a fighting game, pretty simplified, featuring a bunch of SNK's sexiest ladies.
Oh, yeah.
Who I believe the story is they've essentially all been taken to this alternate realm by some kind of pervy, leering otaku type fan and been forced to dress in various, I guess, sort of anime tropish fetish type outfits. And including Terry. Terry is a famous character from whatever other SNK fighting games there are. Fatal Fury, I think. And he somehow has been gender swapped to be Lady Terry.
Amazing.
And Terry wears a hat. Instead of reading Fatal Fury, it reads Fatal Cutie. So
it's, in other words, it's the perfect game.
Yeah, it's incredible. 10 out of 10.
With no fault, yeah.
No faults.
That sounds amazing. So have you been playing this and you've got thoughts on it already? Cool. We'll talk about that next time then.
We'll save that, yeah.
So I guess without further ado then, that's enough of that. Enough of them video games. Where can people find more of you talking about other video games, Newbs?
They can find me on YouTube. I believe you put the link in the description.
I have.
So is it apparently it is youtube.com/ is it user/Marnax MARNAX?
Yeah.
Or just search Newbs NEWBS.
Yeah, search Newbs works. NEWS. NEWS? NEWB.
Yes. I don't have the news channel.
the news channel.
The news channel. No, that's not me.
Cool.
Easily confused.
So you can find any more of my stuff. Not much on YouTube, but I'm Burrhe, Bullhe on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, all that kind of jazz. I've been streaming my local Smash Bros. Online tournament. That's for Melee. It's currently been a bi-weekly. We're up to our second bi-weekly that we did actually yesterday. So if you want to come and see the hardest Melee players that Manchester of the United Kingdom has to offer, the standard is not that high, but it is fun. Sometimes we have a few crazy off-topic chats, and it's an okay time. Feel free to pop in for that, and maybe I'll be streaming something else at some point as well.
Sounds exciting.
Okay, with that in mind then, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.